for a tower. All units, we're going to patch the channels for the shooting.
514, I need an ambulance at export stable. I need an ambulance at export stable.
Units responding to the shootings. Switch 2 will remain on channel 2. Channels back to normal.
453, I have a party shot here and she's rescue high.
453, exactly where are you?
Command Miller Division. I have medical 102 over here. Can I have them to transport my 2 red patients? Copy. Make sure you set up an extrication, triage, treatment, and if you can, a transport officer. All divisions. Set up an extrication, triage, treatment, transport within your division.
A lot of people are like, oh yeah, like we're gonna do buildings and look nicer. It doesn't necessarily mean like that you're gonna change like the structure in terms of the social structure and violence and this and that, because even now in region there's still many problems, even though they're doing their revitalization. I know they're not done, but I definitely have heard many shootings, like heard on my own self. Like I remember being there some weekends hearing shots and I was like, this doesn't need to be changing. Obviously, at the end of the day, like right, we know the Lord, and we know the Lord brings change, and that's where I choose to put my hope in. And in terms of like whether people know the Lord or not, like just showing people kingdom values and treating them as people to be loved upon. I do think that if we do that as the body in whatever capacity, whether it's 2 or 3 gathered or more, I do believe that it's going to start influencing more change in here, which is part of like a big reason why we want to form this thing, you know. And give out stuff like care packages or whatever we plan on doing in the future.
Kevin, you just defined our entire video. The Lord brings change, not changing buildings. The Lord is the one that brings change because He changes people's hearts.
The first time I remember like having like such a big space. We were like in apartments before, but all my memories are basically here. It was a blast. Everything from just hanging out with my sister and doing a whole bunch of things in there, video games, having sleepovers with friends. Family would come visit us and it would always be a fun time. So when the house was packed, it was always fun and nice. We did everything. Like we left to go to the park, we came back and we had freezies or popsicles or whatever during summer days, or fudgesicles. Like that's like my sister's favorite. Always had like the guys over, like my boys. Like my mom was always so hospitable. She calls them like her sons. So I always had company over. Like in my later years, from like probably like 13 or 14 onwards, like consistently. So that was always like, we call it the base. That was always the spot. Like have barbecues or come over, play some Super Smash Brothers or some Mario Kart or whatever, and just chill out all the time. Like yeah, that was always the spot of hanging out with like my boys. And then my sister had her friends come over all the time too. It was just nice. My mom is a very hospitable person. So I think honestly that house only has good memories. Nothing but good memories.
This one here with him playing in the snow. I don't know, I just like to look at him, and I love snow. I like to see just it's so white and it feels so pure for me, just to look at that white stuff, and it feels very pure. And just to look at him just having fun as a little kid. Yeah, I think I like this one quite a bit. And as he grew, his faith grew so much stronger too, because he attended the Scott Mission as a camper, and that was for many, many years until he started working with them. And when he started there, that was like a second home for Kevin. He adored them so much, you know. He met so many people who was there for him. It's something like when you just grab hold of it, you take it and you run with it. You just don't want it to let go. And that was what I saw with Kevin.
Yo, what's up, man? This is gonna be audio-wise. I failed. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you too. What?
All right.
Oh, man.
Good to see you, man.
Longest I've ever seen Philly the first time.
So I met Kevin when I first started working at the Scott Mission, which was many years ago. And Kevin was in our youth programs. We had several programs, some for the younger kids and some for the youth. I'd come in there and, you know, all the boys are typically want to play basketball and whatever else. And Kev is not necessarily known for being a sports guy. So, you know, he wasn't always in there playing sports and stuff like that. But when it came to the Bible lessons, Kevin was super engaged. He was always helpful. He was one of the friendlier guys that I met when I first started, for sure. This is a guy that genuinely loves the Lord, which was rare to see at that age, to see somebody that genuinely cares about these Bible lessons and wants to grow in their faith. And I've actually seen Kevin grow quite a bit over the years. And I think I started first seeing the growth in an internship program that we did. It was the first internship we ever did in Lawrence Heights. And that's where I first started to see Kevin's personality come out. He began to talk a lot more, and I began to understand, one, his passion for the Lord, and two, his compassion for the community. But in terms of the practical needs of the community, there's issues like there's violence, there's issues of poverty, there's issues of disunity. A lot of people are living in the community in isolation in many ways. And so I'd love to see some of these things addressed.
And I remember telling Kevin, like, it's so scary to go outside when I have to go to work, because you don't know exactly what would happen coming in or going out. And then I'm thinking, he always said to me, Mommy, you cannot live in fear. I mean, you know, fear is something, like I said, sometimes it could eat you alive. I've been there, so I know what it was. But then again, you know, of course, you can't let it consume you.
It's nice to not have like that fear over you, you know, looking back. I don't have a fear now. You know, I just come to know, like, the point where I am with my faith is that, like, you know, God is good in and through it all. Like, I'm just gonna trust Him while I'm walking, whether it's 2 a.m. or 11 p.m., 9 a.m., whatever it is. It's like, but I also understand the people who do fear, because it's not an easy thing to hear a gunshot. And that's just one thing, you know. That's just one thing. I've heard of people getting robbed. I've heard of people having their houses broken into, you know. So it's not easy to deal with. But I think it's just by grace that I don't have that fear. But it doesn't mean that, you know, I don't have like the sadness or this anger that comes with witnessing these things, or hearing of them rather. Yeah.
At some point last year, 2020, my brother, Jamal, and I, and then just come up with an idea of like, man, like why don't we do something of our own in Lawrence Heights? And then we're like, you know, we have to start in some way to engage people. So we had this idea of care packages, or because it's something that's relevant, and we're going to a lockdown and people are going to need supplies, right? We had like ideas to handle hand sanitizer, masks, grocery gift cards. So we built on that idea. We wanted it to be something that people who are families and friends could feel that if they wanted to support, that they could. and we were willing to, invest in it as well financially. So we kind of put out a campaign out there to raise $2,500 to build 50 care packages worth around $50 to just give out to people in the community free. People can come, receive a blessing, and just be blessed in these hard times. And we actually did that. It was actually amazing. We raised actually more than we wanted to, so we were able to have extra gift cards. We gave out 50 care packages. It was just even cool to see people just being appreciative of what we were doing. Not in a way to boast, but the fact that, we had planned something, we were just going faithfully to do something. We didn't know how we would be received, and it was received well.
So the first time I met Kevin, as soon as we started talking, we clicked right away just because his love and passion for Jesus was just really evident. And we started talking about youth and like how can we invest in youth and disciple them and mentor them. And so that led to us building a youth ministry at our church from scratch. And so seeing him grow as a leader in his patience, in his wisdom, in his mentorship, in his discipleship was just really cool to see in those few years. And he was always bringing youth down from Lawrence Heights. And what's really cool to see is now that the new common, we're trying to multiply that DNA into our GTA. Kevin is going to be monumental in that, because that's something that he's been doing in the past several years of just pouring into that community, serving that community, praying over that community, meeting youth and families, and just investing in relationships. And so it's just really cool to see what fruit of God's going to come out of that is going to be really awesome.
Now expanding the new common, multiplying it into Lawrence Heights, pretty simple decision. I mean, Kevin has grown up in Lawrence Heights. He has so many relationships there. He's networked there. He's been pouring into the kingdom of God there. He's been ushering in the kingdom there in so many ways with different organizations, with just living on mission in that neighborhood. And so all we're doing really with the new common is joining the work that God's already doing and that he's already been doing through Kevin.
So to just get involved in what's happening in Lawrence Heights, I would say invite people to come and take a walk, come and explore the community, come and see what's happening, even reaching out if you want, if it's not coming and taking a walk, for a phone call to learn more about the community, right? And for people who may be watching this that may have seen Lawrence Heights in a negative way because of what you may have seen on the news or heard about, I can show you something different. I can show you something. I love going on prayer walks. I love doing that with anyone who's interested. So even something like that, just come and be able to pray over this community. I put my faith in the Lord. I put my faith in what He's going to do and what He's done already. And that's something that stirs me on, and that is really the drive for why I want to engage my community. So if you want to be a part of that, feel free. Always welcome to come along and join in that way.